that didn't work. Hello Facebook, hello YouTube. I hope everybody is happy and well. Happy marvellous Monday, start of a brand new week. And I was just saying to our friends here on Instagram that it's going to be a bit of a microbe Monday, and I've got a new guest who is going to be joining me over on Instagram. So apologies on Facebook, you won't be able to see her, but you will be able to hear her. And as always, it's all about the content. That's what matters. So, you know, if you want to see her, then head over to Instagram if you can. It's on Liz Earle Me. Otherwise, just stay tuned. And we've got in the house today Lainey, I think, on Facebook. Morning. Thank you very much for being on there, part of my team. And oh, it's Martha. Hi, Martha. Happy Monday. And Martha will pop all the links up to things that I talk about. So obviously we can do that on Facebook. Those of you who are joining me for the first time on Instagram, a warm welcome. This is my kitchen down in the West Country. It's a bit of a grey old day, but hopefully it's going to get a bit better. The sun was really trying this morning. You know, it was kind of school run time. There was a little glimmer of sunshine. I thought, oh yes, that's it. Keep going, but no. Anyway, hopefully it'll come back. But yeah, if you're new, then a warm welcome. There's only one rule, and that's positive vibes only. This is about well-being, this is about feeling good, it's about inspiring, it's a sisterhood, it's guys are welcome too, but it's the majority of midlife women sharing positive things. And there's always something feel good, there's recipes, there's chit chat, there's lots of Liz Loves offer codes, which is always a good thing. And there's a launch today, a special launch of something which I'm excited about. So I'm going to crack on with that in just a second. But just to say that we can't link on Instagram, so it's one of the foibles, isn't it, of this platform. So I'm sure those of you who know Instagram are familiar with that. So what we do is I can put links up on the Facebook page. So that's on Liz Earle Wellbeing, Facebook. I know lots of you actually split screen, don't you? You've got your kind of your laptop open with Facebook so you can see the links and hop on if you see something that you fancy that's interesting, and actually watch on Instagram, because then you get the Instagram live. So that's quite clever. Or if you want the links on Instagram, then if you go to my bio, so my little biography and my little round circle picture, then you'll see at the bottom of that there's a line that says Linktree, and if you click on that, then a lot of the links. But ultimately, pretty much everything should be on Liz Earle Wellbeing website. Okay, so as I always say, that's the mothership. And those of you who looked at my Instagram this morning will have seen that actually I posted first thing just a little post about these two EGuides. And the reason that I did that is that there's been so much chat over these last few days, thankfully, all about menopause and menopause matters. And that's really because two things. One is that Davina McCall has a documentary on Channel 4, which will go out on air at 9 o'clock on Wednesday. So put it in your diaries, 9 o'clock Wednesday. And she's worked with a really brilliant journalist called Kate Muir, who's also got a great book actually coming out later this year. And I've been, you know, aware of this going on behind the scenes, and I'm really, really happy to help support it. I have actually had a sneaky peek, and it is great. It's quite a hard-hitting documentary, and I think it will make a real difference to a lot of real women's lives, many of whom will actually be hearing this for the first time. So I know a lot of my community here, they're used to me banging on about hormones and replacing hormones and reclaiming our missing hormones. And my most recent podcast actually on hormone health with Dr. Zoe Hodson, all about testosterone. And she just put it so brilliantly, because as she explained, we have so much testosterone as women. It's one of our hormones. I know it gets a kind of a male rap, but it's one of our hormones. And we start to lose it from our 30s. And the impact that has, particularly on brain health, is really quite astonishing. So she just says, look, we want to reclaim our lost hormones. That's all, just reclaiming our missing hormones. Anyway, I'm not going to go down that hormone rabbit hole right now, but there is a lot of information out there. And that's partly why I think that we're hearing so much noise, particularly on Instagram. Menopause doctor, obviously, Dr. Louise Newson has done so much. And I just wanted to put up a post all about menopause, because I don't often do it actually on my Instagram, and just really set out where I stand on this, because I started writing my Good Menopause Guidebook probably, I don't know, 5 years or more ago. Maybe it's more than that now. Time just zips by, doesn't it, so fast? And from there I went on to write more books, and these are my two e-guides, which are super easy to download. Seriously, if you're at all interested There's the truth about menopause, and then there's the truth about HRT. This is very focused on HRT, so if you want to know everything there is to know, this is a really good guide to get. Now, I've obviously printed these out, but they are downloads, they're digital. And the great thing about downloads is that they have links. So you can click to all sorts of things. You can click to nice guidelines, you can click to podcasts, you can click to all sorts of stuff. So seriously, do take a look. If it's of interest, please share with your girlfriends. It's all evidence-based information. So, and then the second bit of good news is that this week also sees the launch of the Menopause charity. So you can follow that online. That's the Meno charity, particularly on Instagram. I imagine they've got that on Facebook as well. I'm not sure. I haven't checked because I don't do Facebook personally. But the Meno charity on Instagram, and I was their first ambassador, which is just great. And we've got lots of really good high-profile ambassadors, including, of course, Davina and Lorraine Kelly, who's been so supportive with her programme. So do check that out. There will be a lot going on all about that. And actually, we had some really nice comments. Martha, thank you for sending these to me and my team, the rest of the team, because on a Friday, Martha will put together some of the emails that have come into HQ, or some of the comments that she's picked up from YouTube especially, or Facebook or Instagram. And there has just been lots and lots here about menopause. So this came in from Marie on email, who says 10 years plus since menopause, 10 years of not sleeping well, etc. I avoided HRT because at the time, usual fears, but a couple of years ago, after reading an article by Liz, I decided to ask my GP. She flippantly told me that if I've got this far, I might as well just carry on, as I was a bit late now. I mean, that is shocking, totally inappropriate and inaccurate, unhelpful. Anyway, moving on. She then says, anyway, in June, after listening to Liz and the other professional, passionate women, I spoke to my GP with fresh resolve and started taking HRT. I slept better immediately. I feel so much better and positive. Of course, I now share with my friends and family. Thank you, Liz. Liz, you make everyone feel like they matter, which of course they do. I know the facts, the interviews, the delving are done with such heart. Your team reflects your own attitude. Thank you, team. Thank you very much, Marie. I don't know whether you watch us on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube, but thank you. And a great shout out to my wellbeing team as well, my wellbeing warriors. I'm definitely not here doing all this on my own, so it's great to get a bit of recognition for them too. And just very quickly, this was Kat on YouTube who says, thank you so much for all posting these and giving us this information. Never realised all the misunderstandings with the menopause I'm starting, and all the advice is much needed. Well, you're very welcome, Kat. So moving on from menopause to microbes and microbiome, and something that's a bit mighty for a Monday. How many more M's can I think of? Well, I'm going to go live in just a moment with one of the founders of this amazing company. Amazing with a big M. Mighty Brew, another big M, and the launch of something really special. So let me just check my requests for going live. Hopefully we will have here Mighty Brew. So let's see if we've got Julia here. Julia, there we go. So, Mighty Brew, many of you will know that I came across them when I was filling in for Kirsty Allsop at the Handmade Fair a few years ago. And she couldn't do it because she had a BBC commitment, so I basically took over. Morning, Julia. Can you hear me?
Hi, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. I'm just making sure that my volume is turned right up because we want to hear what you have to say. I was just saying, Julia, how I first discovered you and Peter at one of Kirsty Allsop's handmade fairs a few years ago when I was filling in for Kirsty. And I went round and I saw all the lovely stall holders, and Mighty Brew was one of them with kombucha. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
That's how we did. And I said, I know about kombucha, and show me, and are you doing it the right way, and all of that. Anyway, you gave me some samples to try then and there, and from that moment I was hooked. I think your kombucha is just the best, and I've since spent happy times with you down on the farm unit, actually brewing and investigating, because you know, I like to go straight to the source. I like to research and, you know, see how authentic things are, particularly if I'm going to be helping to, you know, highlight them on my channels here. So we've connected over the years, and then you had an idea last year that we actually do a Earle Wellbeing special, which we're just about to come off. I think it's just finished brewing, hasn't it? You're just bottling now and just sending it out.
Yes, yes. And just before we carry on with our conversation, I would just like to say a very big thank you for all of you who already placed the orders of Blush Rose Kombucha. And also I would like to apologize for a slight delay because we are overwhelmed by the amount of orders that are getting through.
Oh, wow. Well, that's amazing. That's a good thing, isn't it? It's a good response. So just
so we are doing up.
Okay, so so bear with, and they will come, yeah? Because you're just a small family company.
Sure, we're doing absolutely our very best to send the orders as soon as possible, even working weekends. So please, sorry about this, and thank you for your patience and your understanding. So that's all I wanted to say.
Well, I know that lots of you have already ordered, and in fact, let me just show. This is the latest magazine, and we did put a little page in here just so that everybody who subscribes could be the first to see what it looks like and to share, because hopefully it won't run out. That would be awful if we run out at the beginning of the summer, because this is supposed to last a couple of months. So there you go. So that's the, if you want to check it in the magazine and find out about it. Not only is it exclusive and special, but you've also given us a Liz Loves discount code. So thank you very much, and that's for 10% off everything on Mighty Brew, isn't it? So that's all your other flavours.
The core range and the Blush Rose Kombucha. Sure.
Just lovely. I don't know quite where to start actually. Shall we? I'm going to start by pouring a glass of this, because this is the one that you need to grab, okay, before it sells out, and it's called Heritage Organic Kombucha. It's twice fermented. So it's really aged well. It comes from a genuine living live scoby. The botanicals are all real botanicals, so real organic rose petals, raspberries. You know, we're not just talking drops of extracts and synthetic stuff that unfortunately can go into some versions. It's not pasteurized, so it's very live, it's very active. And it says here, inspired by English meadows. Actually, it should say inspired by English gardens. I think I've got the old label here, haven't I? Here we go, inspired by English gardens, because we changed it.
Yeah, it's a little bit updated one.
This is the updated one. So you see the detail. What I love is the detail. Really, really pretty. So do you have some there, Julia? Can I toast your health?
I will have. Just give me 1 second. I'll come back.
So I'm going to pour mine. This is actually left over from the weekend. I was enjoying it. Look, it's still fizzy.
I have my glass, and let's
this was actually opened on Saturday, and look, it's still fizzing. Isn't that amazing? I've had it in the fridge.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And what I like about this, whoa, pop! Did you hear that? It's like a champagne. It's like a pink champagne. And it is actually in a premium champagne bottle. You know, the details, like it's one of these really heavy, properly dimpled champagne bottles, which I know, you know, they're more expensive, but the whole thing, and having the, you know, the proper thing, the cork that you can pop, I don't know what the technical word is for that, but it's, you know, it just makes it, the whole experience, it's a really premium, expensive thing, and it's a lovely thing to gift, you know, when we're finally able to get out and go and see each other. You know, if you want to take something soft, I mean, you might want to take something fizzy and alcoholic as well, but you might also, if you're not drinking or you're driving or, you know, pregnant or whatever, and want something non-alcoholic, what a great alternative. Have you poured yours?
Yes.
This is to you and Peter and your lovely family. Good health. Happy Monday.
Great result.
Oh my goodness. Who's tried that? I would love, if any of you, I know that there are some people on Instagram here, because you can taste the rose petal and the raspberry in such a soft way. It's not sweet, it's not too cloying, but it's just, it is, I mean, for me, I do like a nice glass of wine and a glass of something, you know, fizzy or rosé, and I've actually started to drink this, as an alternative. And yes, you have a glass of wine to follow it, but it kind of cuts down the amount of alcohol, because this is really nice as an aperitif.
Yeah, exactly. And it's such an amazing, as you know, Liz, when you're brewing this, it's the brewery smells so divine when we are brewing our botanicals, not only rose, but with lemongrass and jasmine. It's like we're laughing with my husband Peter. It's like, it's almost like we're having like an aromatherapy here.
Amazing. I tell you what, we've got some pictures that we took a while ago, actually, when I was able to come and visit. So I'll pop them up on my Instagram stories later so people can see. And can see Peter. And I said this last week, actually, that your vat, you've got a scoby that is wider than my arm. So if people who don't know what a scoby is, I have one here. This is my scoby. And let's just talk about the history of kombucha, because we can tell from your accent, Julia, that you are from Eastern Europe, is that right?
Yeah.
So tell us about your background and how that works in with the story of kombucha.
Well, I will start from the 2016, because this is the year when this all began. So myself and my husband Peter, we reached the point in our lives when we were looking for the ways to work with nature and to find a way for an overall better health. So we looked at our lifestyle, our habits, our activities, and of course our diet. So this is when we actually not like discovered but rediscovered kombucha, because as being from Eastern Europe, I think the fermentation is really in our DNA.
That is amazing. I remember being, I think it was in Latvia, not that long ago, and on every street corner there was a shop selling kefir or kombucha or some kind of kimchi or fermentation. And did you grow up with that? Did you grow up with kombucha being made at home?
Yeah, exactly. Funny enough that, when I was little, a child, kombucha wasn't really in every household. So, as you said, kefirs, kombucha, and sauerkraut, this was a part of our normal life. So when we tried, but then, I don't know, somehow it just got forgotten. We still drink kefirs and sauerkrauts, but then it got forgotten. So when we tried kombucha here in London, we said, we know this taste. And it took us back to the beginning, took us back to our roots. So this is when we really got into it. And we decided to brew our kombucha ourselves, and we bought a little scoby online, which we still have it.
You still have the original scoby. Amazing.
Yes, it's massive now, and it's called the Mother.
Wow, and that's it. So that's the one that I saw. That has grown this much from a little tiny scoby. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. So that's the very first one, and this was it. We really got into this with a very big passion.
So did you start at home, literally in your kitchen and some kilner jars?
Yeah. We dedicated a small corner of our kitchen for brewing kombucha. Then somehow magically this corner expanded into our living room. And one day we realized that half of our living room is actually a mini brewery at home.
Wow. And you do it properly. And so for anybody who's not familiar, I mean, I hope that you are familiar by now, but you brew these extraordinary live ferments of these beneficial bacteria and yeasts, and you brew it with a bit of sweetened tea. Is that right? And then the scoby, if you like, the living organism here, digests the sugar, feeds on the sugars to grow and create these beneficial bacterias, and actually digest the sugars. So you're ending up with something that is in itself very low sugar, the liquid. It's a very low sugar drink, isn't it? Because the sugar's all been used and turned into good bugs.
And that's why when people read the labels, they see the sugar. It's in the ingredient list, but it's just a very little amount, and that's anyway. It's below 5 grams sugar, and anything below that it's considered as a low sugar drink. So this
absolutely.
is to worry about.
Yeah, no. And I remember talking to you about your history growing up as a child. And you were saying that, you took it for granted. Every kitchen would have something like this. And you were saying that even, when you were running in from playing, you would just kind of grab the jar, drink it through the muslin.
Exactly.
Just have a quick slurp and then head off back outside again. I mean,
exactly. Because
amazing.
It has a little, you don't strain it. It has a little bit there. So as a child, you can't be bothered doing that. So you just kind of sip a little bit and just carry on with your activities. So
your microbiome must be just like top notch. So can you keep a SCOBY then pretty much forever? You say that you've got the original mother now, which must be what, 5-6 years old?
Yeah. And I think the actual SCOBY, it can be for thousands of years, the same bacteria, the same SCOBY, the same mother. It can be alive for thousands of years, so it can never be old.
Yes.
At home, I understand that you have to reduce it. If you're brewing at home, you have to, because it grows and grows.
I'm so guilty when I throw my SCOBYs out because they've given such great service. I don't want to throw them away.
That's how I'm telling you that's how we end up with half a living room of jars, because we felt so bad to be reducing them and throwing them away. So we kind of, let's try this flavor, let's try that flavor, this combination, and then we end up with with so much kombucha. But that's amazing because you start sharing with your friends and family and neighbors, and this is when we realize that it makes people feel good, that people are saying it's improved their digestion, energy levels.
I'm sure my skin is, it's hard to know. I do so many different things, it's hard to know. But I think my skin benefits when I'm drinking kombucha. There is a kind of an inner glow. Obviously, a lot of people are drinking kombucha for gut health. And having it, before meals, you could have a little glassful, couldn't you? How do you tend to drink it in your family?
You know what? People always asking me, can you overdose kombucha? And I said that, look at, I don't know, I am the living example. I think that you cannot. I'm not talking for everyone, but for myself, that I'm from morning till evening. I wake up, I have my first glass throughout the day, and in the evening after dinner, I'm having, so all day, I don't know, I'm drinking really a lot, and I just feel amazing. And in fact, when I don't have it at home, when we don't bring it from brewery, and one day I'm without kombucha, I'm like, something is missing in my life. It's like, I guess this is when people are addicted to coffee or, I don't know, nicotine or something. I'm like, I need some.
You've got a healthy addiction. Well, for all of you watching on Facebook and YouTube who can't see Julia, you do look the glowing picture of health, I have to say. Tell me about the different flavours, because I know one of your classic ones is Sencha tea, is that right? So you're using a different kind of green tea or black tea. What's the best thing to use for brewing?
Well, the way we see kombucha, that how it can bring the most benefits, and we really appreciate and celebrate the actual and the real pure flavor of the kombucha. So when we're brewing, we don't really want to mask this flavor and overpower with strong flavors, often artificial or even natural ones. So we kind of want to just add some botanicals to kind of complement this flavor and to also give some extra benefits. So that's why we kind of Sencha is our original one, and then we have a jasmine, which
jasmine
is amazing.
Is really nice. Yeah,
exactly, and it has like a calming effect. So then we have lemongrass, known as antibacterial herb, and often used even in aromatherapy to purify the air from viruses and all the bad bugs.
Great.
So hemp again.
Yeah, the hemp one. And I have to say, my youngest, he is waiting for winter, and the reason for that is he loves your winter chai. That spiced one, he started drinking it before Christmas, and I got him a couple of cases just because he was loving it so much. And I was thinking, this is so great. He's 10 years old, get him onto something healthy, away from the sugary drinks. Even fruit juice is very high in sugars, so get him into something good. And he just loves it. And when he heard that,
that's amazing.
But you're not doing it now till the winter. He's going to have to wait.
No, that's why we're keeping it seasonal, because it makes people excited.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I love this. I have to say, this. We've tried. We were experimenting over the months. We were trying different things. We were trying different flavors. I've got here actually somewhere. I'll have to show you another time. I've got all the little bottles that we had with the handwritten labels with the batch numbers. Trying different things. And you're using the real botanicals, aren't you? And is this one of the things that makes Mighty Brew different?
Yeah, exactly. So we only after pure natural taste and pure health. So we don't want to, and this will never change. This will never change. This is the whole approach to life, and this reflects in our business, because this is a family business. So it's very personal, and this is a mirror of our own life. So that's how it is.
Yeah. And any kind of, people are asking on Facebook, any sort of health contraindications, any reason why you wouldn't be able to have it? Presumably it's just a food, it's like a drink, isn't it? It's not going to interact with any kind of medications, or it's not contraindicated with anything?
This I will not maybe answer this question. If someone is really concerned, maybe they should speak to the professional. I only can talk from my experience, from our surroundings, and 6 years of doing kombucha and sharing with everyone. We never had anyone who was kind of had a problem and they contacted us, or I could hear something that was going wrong. So nothing. I never heard that.
Only positive things. So I think obviously do a bit of research if you're concerned. But like you, I've never come across anything. The only thing I would say is if you do suffer from a histamine intolerance, just be careful, because anything fermented can raise histamine levels, as can foods like avocados, and we've got features actually on Earle Wellbeing about that. But overall, for the majority, drinking kombucha is such a healthy alternative, and I think just add it in. For me, I still drink tea and coffee, I still drink glasses of wine, but I add this in, and I give it to my kids. I try and get them to drink more water as well. But it's just such a good way of getting those prebiotic and probiotic beneficial bugs.
Exactly. And one thing is, we're drinking less than ever before, so it's the alcohol consumption is really dropped. So but good. Then again, just to it's important to have a good alternative also. And we are not non-drinking family, and yes, you can choose. There must be a reason why you're cutting off on alcohol, probably for health benefits. So again, please read the labels, because not all of the alternatives are good for you either. So you might think, okay, I'm not drinking alcohol, but then instead you're having something which is not doing nothing good for you either. So again, this is something which is, yes, it do the job. It's
it's actively good for you. It's actively supplying you with good things.
Every single ingredient is good for you, so it's no harm at all.
Well, I'm really looking forward to sharing some of the behind the scenes pictures, and I have to say, I really do a lot of investigation, particularly, if I'm doing something like Liz Loves, where we're sharing offer codes, or I'm actually talking about something, and, I'm not paid to do this, so this is something that, I do investigate great British brands, particularly female founder-led brands very often. And so I do a lot of kind of due diligence, if you like, to make sure that they're going to stack up. But then if I actually put, the Earle Wellbeing name on something, that's a whole other step. That's a whole, next level. And, as an organic farm produced drink, this is totally something that I'm super happy, super proud actually of our collaboration.
Oh.
Thank you so much. I hope you are as proud as I am, and I hope that everybody absolutely loves it and can grab it while it's available, because it is a limited edition, who knows whether it will continue past the summer. But for a summer drink, I'm waiting for the sun to shine, waiting for some summer parties so that I can have lots of this in stock to share with family and friends for a really healthy treat. Well, thank you so much. Come back and join us another time, and it's lovely to see you. Please give my love to Peter and your lovely children, and it's just so nice to see you. Thank you for your time. I know it's a crazy day today because you've got lots of orders going out, haven't you?
yeah, and plus bottling, so.
Plus bottling as well. Before you go, Juliet, very quick question. People are saying, what's the life? How long can you keep this for?
Because there is a hint of raspberry, it's 12 months.
12 months. Oh my goodness, mine will be gone long before that. Don't worry.
Sorry, 6 months.
6 months. 6 months because of the fresh raspberry.
Yes, it's because of the hint of raspberry. Our core age is 12 months.
Okay. Great. Really good to know. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of the day. Hope the orders go well. Bye. Now you have to leave me, honey, because if I click you off, I risk losing everybody, and that's not. Yeah. Bye. But don't forget to click your phone off. Otherwise, we'll just.
Okay. Oh.
Brilliant. That's it. Somewhere or other. Fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. I am going to, yes, my birthday. My birthday's on Monday. I have got some in my fridge. Ready and waiting. So if you want to see a little bit more in this beautiful rose-themed edition, you see how carefully planned it all is. Actually, a couple of other things to share with you just while we're on the subject of drinks. Because, as you know, I do like a nice glass of wine. And I particularly try and buy organic and biodynamic wines. And we linked up last year for the first time with a really great British company called Vintage Roots. Talked about them before. I've known about them for decades. I remember first writing about them. I think I might have been on Woman's Journal magazine like 35 years ago. And first hearing about this small company that was selling, you know, something called biodynamic wine and thinking, wow, you know, what's that? That's quite out there. Anyway, we now have the Earle Wellbeing Wine Club. Look at that. And if you see your magazine, there is a special offer at a special price of a truly delicious, really pale pink, not that kind of artificial sugary pink, but a really sublime pale pink rosé. It's called Madelenchon Rosé. Hope I pronounced that correctly. And this also, I asked my great friend Richard Bampfield, who's the master of wine, to describe it in kind of proper winey terms. And he says, this is all very flowery language, obviously. It says, the Caladoc grape brings fruit and spice to the bouquet, while the marriage with Grenache delivers a characterful rosé, hinting at wild strawberries mingled with a whisper of wild herb and spice. Doesn't that sound good? Dry and crisp, ideal for sharing with friends on sunny days. And we have an exclusive saving there on a 6-bottle case. So if you wanted the duo, you can get your rosé. And you could precede it perhaps with a lovely glass of the Heritage Rose Blush, or Rosé Blush, maybe we should pronounce it, so that you can get your good gut bugs before you start the alcohol. Anyway, lovely to see Julia, and as I say, really nice family and lovely family business. And I love the fact that it's just grown organically. Can you imagine? You know, you start with a few jars like this in your kitchen, and anybody who's grown scobies will know that they grow like topsy, and before you know it, you've got, you know, half a dozen of them. And then they took over that whole house. And then they took the plunge a few years ago and actually rented a little unit in these farm buildings, and that's where they now do all their brewing. And it's amazing. It's really good. And it's twice brewed, so it's long fermented. So what they do is they brew first. Takes about 3 weeks, I think, maybe more. Sorry if I've got that wrong, Julia. 3 or 4 weeks to do the huge, big mother fermentation from the mother scoby. And then they put it into smaller vats, and that's when they add the botanicals. And here they're adding the organic rose petals and the raspberries. And then they ferment that again. So it's this really long, I think that's why they've called it on the label, actually, Heritage. Because it's the twice fermented, and it's using the natural botanicals that make it so different than kind of, you know, big industrial commercial kombuchas. Anyway, if you want to know more about gut health, I do have my Good Gut Guide. I haven't got many copies of these here actually, because they always go so quickly, but I am signing them and sending them out if you're interested. And I'm sure that in here there is a whole thing on kombucha and how to make it. So many things actually. There's lots and lots of lovely recipes. I don't know whether you can see in here, but yeah, oh yeah, there was the kombucha. I'll show you in just a second. But lots about gut health, and these are all the clinical references, by the way. So I always like putting medical references whenever I talk about medical things. So where are we? Make your own ginger ale, make your own sourdough, make your own kefir. apple cider vinegar, kombucha. There we go. Step by step to making kombucha if you want to give it a go. Takes about 2 weeks, maybe 2 to 3 weeks to brew it, depends on temperatures and that kind of thing. And if you want to get a SCOBY, there is one in my freshly fermented gut health box. I think maybe Martha, you can pop a link if you haven't done that already, my love, on Facebook. So this is another great British company doing fabulous ferments called Freshly Fermented. And we had the Earle Wellbeing gut health box. And that's got your SCOBY, it's got your kefir grains, your water kefir, your turmeric gut bug, your creme fraiche starter, your yogurt starter. So it's really good. So you'll find that on lizearlewellbeing.com if you're watching on Instagram and want to go and check that out. Just to say, by the way, if you want your gut health book, the Good Gut Guide, I sign them from here and they come at the moment with a pack of 3 little notebooks, free notebooks. There you go. I know, look at this, all very carefully coordinated. I've got my pink flowers, got my pink dress. This is an Aspiga dress. So this is a lovely ethical fashion brand. And check them out. I love them. Lucy McNamara, who's the female founder there, is just great. Known her for years and such integrity with everything that they do. And we get Liz Loves, we get free P&P. So if you want to get anything from the Aspiga website, grab yourself some free P&P with the Liz Loves code. And this particular dress is a wrap. Isn't that pretty? Absolutely love it. Really, really love those styles. Anyway, something else that I love talking about family brands, and it being Monday, Microbe Monday, is Microbes. This is something else I've talked about before, Microbes. So this is the BioLive Gold. And what I really like about this is there's 15 different strains of beneficial bacteria. So lots of probiotics with special herbs, all produced from a family farm, not far from me actually, down in Somerset, down in the West Country. So it's a really good fermented food supplement. So if you take a spoonful a day, first thing, that's what I do, spoonful a day, and I just know that I'm replenishing my microbiome. Because the thing about gut bugs is you do need to keep topping them up because they don't stay around, they're in transit. So having that little daily top up is a really good thing. And we have a special Liz Loves with Microbes, but it runs out tonight, okay? So if you want to get your liquids and stock up, 20% off, but it runs out midnight Monday if you're watching this in real time. So thank you very much to the guys at Microbes, and I'm desperate to come and see you. So I don't know whether you're watching today, but we will, now that we're coming out of lockdown, we will definitely be getting back together, I hope. So that's Microbes with a Z, M-I-C-R-O, Microbes, B-Z. So Liz Loves for 20% off. One other thing before I go, talking about drinks, is, oh, I've just found this actually, look at this. This comes with your order of Mighty Brew Kombucha. Beautifully done. This is really beautifully printed with little gold foil lettering. Can you see that? And it tells you all about it. And there's a little bit of information about it, and then there's a picture of Julia and me on the back taken down on the farm. Isn't that so nice? I just think that's when companies go the extra mile. They don't have to do this. They could just put it in a box and send it off. But no, to print something, and even on the back here, look, there's a little bit of gold embossing on here. That just shows the care and the love. And you feel that when you drink it. You just think, oh, this is so special. This is doing me some good. So anyway, really, really just so pleased to be collaborating there. And actually, if you want more information, I know there's lots of chat going on here about the Good Gut Guide book, but if you wanted a download, so you can't wait for the book, then you can get a Happier, Flatter Tum. So that's the download. I've just printed that out just so that you can see it. But there's quite a lot in here about good gut bugs as well, and also how to make various things. Let me just show you. There's a whole thing in there on making kefir. There's a water kefir recipe. I'm sure there'll be a SCOBY in here. Yeah, kombucha recipes. So if you want to just grab a quick download, then it's obviously cheaper than buying the book, and you can get it immediately. So I'll just throw that out there. Now, before I go, just a quick reminder that last Friday, so many of you have commented on my live with Emma Bridgewater. That was a coup, wasn't it? Lovely, lovely Emma Bridgewater. Do you know that was her first ever live IGTV? First ever. Isn't that great? So she was talking about all her lovely mugs. I've got a cup of tea actually on the go. Drinking so many good things today. And she's given us a Liz Loves code as well, which is really rare for Emma Bridgewater. So if you are a fan of Emma Bridgewater pottery, if you didn't catch the live, then do please watch it. It's up on my IGTV or it's up on Facebook or YouTube from Friday. Talking about her history, her background, just breathing new life into derelict Victorian pottery warehouses up in Stoke. And she's an amazing woman. She's an incredible local employer, great designer. You know, I've got classics. We were laughing actually because this is my teapot here, and this was one of her very first designs. And I've got a whole set of cups that go with it. Absolutely love it. And, you know, to have all of this at the moment with a discount, but it's not going to last forever. Okay, so it's a limited time. But Liz Loves on her full price items, 15% off everything. And I have to say, oh, great. Lots of chat going on. Lots of great chat with Emma. Yeah, absolutely. I'm just scrolling back here because I forgot my iPad. I just wanted to make sure. You just received your magazine, have you, Barbie? Brilliant. Yeah, suggestions. How do we get partners and friends to watch Menopause programme on Wednesday? Well, just sit them down. Make them a nice, you know, pour them a nice glass of Kombucha or something and just say, you know, this will be an interesting watch, because actually it is for everybody. There's lots of men commenting on the programme, and it obviously affects guys. You know, menopause affects 51% of the population. You know, all women will have a menopause if they live long enough, and some will have it very early, some will have it later, and we all interact with men. So it's really important that men know about this, that they can be supportive, they can be aware, they can maybe signpost symptoms to sisters, mothers, wives, girlfriends, colleagues. You know, really important. You know, back in the day when we were allowed to go out and meet people, I used to go into businesses and talk, you know, give talks, wellbeing talks. I went into huge, great banking organisations in Canary Wharf, for example, and I remember being invited to go and do one talk about menopause, and it was a few years ago now, and it was linked up, I think, to International Women's Day, and they said, look, we're going to invite, you know, all our kind of senior managers and women, because we want to retain more women in the business and stop women from leaving work early. You know, through ill health or anxiety or lack of sleep or any of these things. Anyway, I was really amazed. I went into this, you know, big conference room. I would say pretty much half of all those in the audience were men, which was such a great thing to see. And they were there because they wanted to better understand. They'd never been told. You know, they'd never been taught anything about what menopause was. It was a kind of a hidden, hushed word. I mean, if women are sometimes not talking about it, then, you know, what do the guys know, for heaven's sake? And they just wanted to better understand their family members. They wanted to better support women in their teams. So really important. So yeah, great that everybody's talking about it. I do hope that, you know, I'll obviously be back here live talking on my Instagram Live and Facebook Live on Wednesday. And that would be very interesting to see on Friday when we've all sat and watched it, or maybe seen it on catch up, you know, what we think of it. But I do think there is a tipping point. You know, it's a time, I think I said on one of my Instagram posts or comments to somebody, you know, it is time to change how we talk about the change, you know. So I think that will happen. Now, before I go, just to say, oh, I've got my little tropical, oh, lovely so much. Good with a cup of tea or a glass of kombucha. And beauty bombs, I'll put the link up. Maybe, Martha, you've got that for Facebook. Really good to make those. Got a batch of those going for the week ahead, actually. Now, I am going to be, all being well, I'm going to be coming to you from sunny Devon. Yeah, I've got a work trip for the next few days. I'm going down to do some interviews and some filming and some recording down in sunny Devon, which hopefully will be sunny. So I'm going to be coming to you live, all being well, from there on Wednesday. So I shall leave you in suspense as to who I'm actually going to be with, but it's going to be really good, and I'm really looking forward to meeting some new businesses and to getting some new collaborations and just some new fun things for my channel and for my magazine as well. So magazine, by the way, is flying. So if you haven't yet got yours, please don't delay. It's subscription only. So we have a limited number of copies. We don't put lots and lots of copies anymore into retail because it was just proving incredibly wasteful. So we just have subscriber copies. So if you want to subscribe, please go to lizarwellbeing.com because that one won't be around forever. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in today. Lovely to see everybody. Thank you for all your chit chat. Get the gin out, absolutely. Yeah, I think there are several nice gin distilleries, aren't there, down in South Devon? I shall go and see. And it's a sunny day. Excellent. Well done. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing everybody down there. Thank you. Thank you for your kind words about the magazine too. That's really kind of you. Thank you. Sending lots of love. See you Wednesday. Have a great rest of the day. Bye-bye.